Well, hello everyone. I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US. And I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. This is a special one because it's about paper pumpkin. Surprise, surprise. I have more alternates to share with you, and I actually have some bonus projects at the end. Today we're going to triple, or I'm going to show you how to triple the cards from this kit. If you are a kit subscriber and you haven't used up all your kit products yet, hopefully you can apply these ideas to those products. If you aren't a kit subscriber, stay tuned, pay attention, see what's going on, and possibly give paper pumpkin kits a try. They're really fun. It's so fun to see the comments rolling in before the live. And welcome to Trisha. Trisha Josephs has an extra special symbol next to her name because she is my moderator. She is here to answer questions for us. I'm not good at catching comments and questions during the live. I do read most of them afterwards. So in fact, today I have for us several comments that I highlighted or screenshot so that we can pull those up and take a peek at what was shared last time. Because you guys do share great ideas. It's fun to see when people are new to a live, or maybe they're new to my channel. I love seeing where you're from. I love getting tips from you. I love what you share about the weather, where you're at, what you're doing at the time. It's fun. And you guys are like, you're a community of crafters that are getting to know each other too. So if you keep tuning in every week, you can get to know each other. There's conversations going on that I sometimes get distracted by. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? So yeah, it's really a fun place to be. So I hope that you stick around and see what I have to share today. Welcome to my YouTube members, my YouTube subscribers, and followers of me social media wise. So if you would like to, you can find my website at stampyourartout.com. I have links to things in the description of my video, so you can connect with me on my blog, my website, Facebook, YouTube, all kinds of places, okay? Here we go. Let's go down to the desktop just really quick because I want to show you. I'm like rushing to get things done because I have my kiddo. And he's not a kiddo anymore. Gosh, he's 19 now, and he lives in California now. He's coming to visit. What day is it? He's coming to visit tomorrow. So we're all doing all kinds of things to get ready. I keep getting a hair stuck to my face in this place. Sorry about that. But he's coming to visit tomorrow. And so there's all kinds of rushing and getting ready for that. And I'm so stinking super excited. So yeah, anyways, that's what's going on in the back of my mind. So I wasn't quite ready at 11. I was a few minutes late and I apologize. This is the kit that we're working with today. It's the Bikes and Blooms June 2026 Paper Pumpkin Kit. The next one coming up, I'll give you a little preview of that too towards the end. I hope I remember to do so. If not, there's a link in the video description that will be live soon, and you'll be able to see photos of the things that I share today. You'll be able to see photos of the upcoming kit, and all the links for subscribing or reconnecting to Paper Pumpkin if you've been there before. Okay, so let's play around with this. Oh, and I have to say, because I'm seeing some flags from other countries, I love that this is global now. Oh, so many of us can enjoy Paper Pumpkin, and it's so much fun when it's widespread, right? So that's the kit instruction manual. You could see that there were visual directions in there. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking at all the parts and pieces of this kit, and instead of assembling the 3 different kinds of cards that you saw on the front of that little pamphlet, we're going to take and cut and divide these up. We're even going to cut up the envelopes, and we're going to add in some extra card stock. I have 2 colors here. I have basic gray and I have soft seafoam. And we're adding those in to create new card bases. And then we're also going to need to replace the envelopes. So really, there's not a lot of extra things that you need if you want to triple the cards in this kit. We're turning 3 into 9. All 9 of the cards could turn into 27 if you want to do that with your kit. This is a favorite. A lot of people love to see how we can multiply cards in the kit. And I hope that you enjoy what I do. And yes, I'll be cutting bicycles in half. So let's get started with the first card. And I have to break into my new cardstock. I told myself when I woke up this morning, I just have to get the blog post done. I just have to get the blog post done. And I seriously was scrambling to get it done so that it would be live at the same time as the video. Didn't get to that. So we're just gonna create as we go, even though I don't have all the pieces cut ahead of time. I hope that's okay with you. So we're gonna score this cardstock. This is our soft seafoam. We're gonna score it at 4 1/4 inches, which is half of 8 1/2. We're scoring it in this direction, and then we're gonna cut so we can create 2 card bases at the same time, like that. They're both folded. We just have to crease them and decorate them up. So I'm gonna take my bone folder tool and I'm gonna run that across the crease to make it sharper. Another piece that we're gonna use is, and I'm gonna grab it from this folder because we're gonna do some layers with basic gray. So I'm gonna, again, I'm not ready. I am going to cut the cardstock for you. We're gonna use our handy dandy Victor ruler, which is 2 7/8. And we need that piece to be 4 3/8. You can see the card that we're gonna be making, 2 7/8. And that one has a score line through it by 4 3/8. We'll use this scrap. 2 7/8. And I think I actually make 2 of those layers. I think I make 2 of them. I do. So let's just take one big piece of cardstock. Let's just do that, Rachel. By 4 3/8, did I say? I think I did. So we're gonna cut here and cut 2 pieces that are 2 7/8 by 4 3/8. So they're tall and skinny, right? Putting that over the top to make sure. Yep. Okay, so we have those pieces ready for our first 2 cards. And now we're gonna cut our envelope. We're cutting into, hang on. We're gonna cut our card base. We're cutting a card base. We're totally doing this on the fly. How's the weather here? Are you asking about my weather, Susie? It's sunny, but it's so hot and humid outside. It's like tropical. So everybody has their air conditioning on if they have it. Okay, we're gonna cut this at 4 1/4. And then we're gonna cut it in half at 2 not 3 2 3/4. Okay, those are gonna be our first 2 layers of our card. And I'm double checking because again, Rachel rushed to get ready. Hang on just a second here. What's that from? Oh, I know. Okay, yep, we're doing it right. We're doing it right. I put the cards in order. At least I have them in order of the best way to make them. Okay, so we're cutting that in half. We have 2 long, narrow pieces. They're going to layer onto these gray pieces here. And we have our 2 card bases. Let us assemble with the details. We're gonna grab our little pot here. And our pot is coming from this bike. What? Yes, we're gonna cut off the handle because I want this piece to be smaller. So I'm just gonna cut around these leaves. Did any of you do this yet? Just cut around the leaves and remove that handle. There, one handle's gone. Then do the same thing over here. And there's so many little sketchy lines around here that it's really not noticeable when you have these couple little tiny gray spots in there. And then we're going to cut around this. So we're just gonna follow the lines of the basket and the leaves. We're gonna chop off down here. And how did I do that? Oh, I wasn't concerned with that. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. We're gonna keep that together. Rachel's already screwing up. We're gonna get another bike. We are gonna get another bike. Hold on. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna see lots of mistakes from me today because I am so not on the ball. This is what happens when my son comes to see me. My mind is elsewhere. Okay, we're cutting that out, but we're not gonna cut out, yeah, we're not cutting this one out, okay? So if you're doing this with me, I'm sorry. Glue it back on. Okay, all right, this one is gonna get cut at, and I'm gonna tell you the measurement exactly. That measurement is going to be 2 7/8. So we're gonna flip it over because there's a square corner down here. We're gonna flip it over and we're gonna use that straight line and this edge to go to 2 7/8. And I'm gonna check. I wanna make sure. I don't wanna screw up a whole bunch of times today, just maybe 3. Okay, so that's right. And now we're gonna take our dark blade, we're gonna cut through the basket, and we're just gonna remove it with the wheel. We're not gonna use the wheel either, we're gonna cut that off, but this is gonna be saved for another card. Okay, that will be the 3rd card we make. Now we can come in here and we can just kind of like, it doesn't even matter if you have part of the wheel showing because we're gonna cover up the bottom here. But you could take this wheel if you want to and use it somewhere else. I didn't, I just tossed it as I did with these 2, with this handle. This handle is gone. Okay, we'll use this basket and we're going to add it to one of our yellow layers. We're gonna do that flat. We're just gonna glue it on flat. So I'm gonna use seal adhesive, but you could take and use the multi-purpose liquid glue if that's your preference, whatever glue of your choice, adhesive of your choice. You're going to place this on this layer about 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch down from the top. About there. And that's going to give us some room down here to put our sentiment piece, which we're going to do with this piece. Is this distracting, this whole pile? Let's move this. We're not using all of these yet, so we'll just kind of shove them off to the side. I usually do work in a, cleaner little zone. Okay, so we have our clean zone now. We're going to stamp on this. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat to make it easier, and we're going to stamp with the thank you stamp from the kit. I have all of them mounted except for my thank you. Actually, I don't. I'm going to go grab some blocks. We need 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's mount that. And now we have our thank you on our block. We're gonna bring in an extra ink color. You do not need to. You can use the Calypso Coral color that comes in the kit so that you don't have to buy a ton of supplies, but I am gonna use Basic Gray. It is a color that has been in past Paper Pumpkin kits, by the way. So you could look through your past spots to see if you have it. We're gonna stamp the thank you off to the right of this banner, like that. And then we're gonna add this onto the front with dimensionals. You can use the dimensionals that come in the kit. There's a bunch of mini ones that come in there, but I'm just gonna go ahead and bring in some dimensionals that I already have. Let's put a couple on there, peel off the backings. So how is everybody? Are we talking about having Paper Pumpkin in Europe? Is that what I'm seeing with the conversation? Yay. And I hope that you're enjoying all the alternates that are out there. Where'd that piece go? Here it is. Okay, so, and you don't have to make alternates. You can make the kits as is. It's just that I've never taken a kit and made it completely as is. Like, I can't do that. I can't. I have to alter it. So we're going to add this down here with a little bit of room right off to the side here. We have a gap and we're going to take care of that. Let's add this to the back, or add the back of it, sorry, to one of these Basic Gray card layers. And then remember, we put dimensionals underneath these 2 spots here. So we can add more dimensionals. And if you want to, you could bring in your mini ones, 1 in each corner to give it a little bit of a pop off the page for our card base, or off our card base piece, okay? Okay, so we're gonna take and grab that, put that over here, like so. I think we're gonna do this. We're gonna add the inside layers all at the end. Okay, what I wanna do now, first time from France, yay! RM, and you have my first 2 initials of my name, Rachel Marie. So my initials are RMT. I'm gonna do a quick little break, a detour here, and we're gonna pull up some comments that were shared last week because I think I used to do this all the time and I think it's fun. Now, granted, I highlighted them when I was looking at the after live in my studio area instead of on the regular video screen that you would see. So it's white on black background. If that bothers you, I promise I will change it in the future. But I was just so excited when I was reading through some of these comments. Lots of comments from all over as far as like having, you know, paper pumpkin kits global now. I think that's so fun. So it was fun to see where everybody's from, tuning in from. First time joiner, or first time, sorry, Denise, first time joining from 35,000 feet. I don't even know what that means, but that sounds really cool. And then I asked if you got the kit and if you've played with it yet. So then some people responded here. Thank you. I do read your comments, so it's nice to see those sweet comments roll in. And yes, I do sometimes wake in the middle of the night and I have ideas. I think people do that, right? That's normal. And then down here, I was asking people what was their favorite past kits. We didn't have a ton of people that expressed what their favorite past kits were, but it was fun to see a few of them pop up. I remember the Spooky Treats one. There was sunflower paper pumpkin one, yes. And then this Debbie mentioned that she got turned on to paper pumpkin, my videos or something, when I did a video with my son who had just broken his leg and he was recovering, and we made these little lifesaver treats to give to the staff that helped him through the surgery. And so, yeah, that was a fun memory brought back. And then thank you so much to REITZL. I want to say, Rachel, using the reverse tweezers to hold on to your ribbon is, yes, a great tip, and I forget to share it. So thank you for sharing those ideas. Okay, I'm going to pull that off my screen. Hang on. Got to get rid of it so I can see other things. Okay, we're back to this. All right, so we almost have this done. We're going to embellish it now. The kit comes with a little section of butterflies that are kind of like a soft silver foil. They almost have a colorful sheen to them too, though. They're not just silvery, but they're almost like a, I don't know, you can see a different, you can see reflection of a little bit of other color in them. So we're going to stick a butterfly there and a butterfly up here. Again, we'll work on the insides of the cards soon, but let's move on to the next card. The next one is going to be using this piece, which is kind of the supplement to the basket, right? But we're going to use it separately as if it's a bunch of bushes. And we're going to stamp it like they instruct in the kit. So we'll take our larger Calypso coral pad, just because for me it's easier if I use my larger pads in the videos, but you get ink spots with your stamps, with all your consumables, with your embellishments, with your adhesives. The only thing you need for these kits, you guys, is literally a scissors, and that's not even with every kit, okay? So you could take these traveling with you. You can give them as gifts to people who don't own craft rooms. You know, like they are so doable. And it's all about experiences nowadays, right? We love the experience of being creative. Even if we don't feel creative, you can be creative with kits by just putting them together as is. That is creativity. It's building your creativity. Sorry, I'm getting on a soapbox now. Okay, I'm going to close this up. We're going to go to another element of the kit. And it's this piece here. I'm going to flip it over though, I think. Nah, I'll use it this way. I like it that way. Okay, let's grab our stamp that says, have a lovely day. We're going to ink that up with the basic gray. I'm going to put this straight edge on my grid paper so that it's going straight this way, horizontal. And that way, when I put this on here, I'm not looking at the lines or the circular shape. I'm looking at the lines on my grid paper to help guide me and place it straight, okay? So I've got that stamped on there. If you make a mistake, you do have a white side, and that would work perfectly for this card too. So we have these two pieces. We also need a little bit of a hill. And so the hill or the land or whatever you want to call it is going to be created with the extra colors we get from the envelopes. And I'm just going to take and cut them all off at the same time right now. So we're cutting the flaps off of these envelopes. There we go. Now we have more colored cardstock to choose from. And we're going to take our green color, and I think Yeah, we don't even add it all the way in. So you're gonna grab that one yellow base that we had. Oh my gosh, Trisha, I need you today. Okay, I did have a base that we just cut from this card. It's in here. It's gotta be in here. And you guys probably see it, and I don't. We made this card with half of it. I need the other half. How's everyone doing? Okay, hang on. I know it's here. That goes with that. That goes with that. Oh, seriously. Okay, let's do this. Let's take a little breather here, Rachel, and we're going to show some other things on the computer. How does that sound? I have been gifted. This is another thing that's distracted me recently. I'll put it up there on the screen as I'm looking for supplies. Oh, I found it. Do you see that picture? That's a basket full of cards. I wasn't going to go live tomorrow, but I am. Before my kiddo flies in, this is like something I didn't have to create, but I have a show and share to do tomorrow because I have all these cards that I still have not opened all of yet, but they were gifted to me on Sunday from team members, sister, brother demonstrators, team members. Susan Campfield, you're amazing. She put together this little surprise for me. So I just wanted to invite you to that live too. There is a link to it that's available to go to. That'll be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Time. And again, you don't have to watch it live. You can watch the replay. Found my piece. What we're going to do with this is we're going to take and put some ground down here. We're just going to use this to make kind of like a green zone. And I don't even care where I'm putting the adhesive on here because we're going to trim it off. So I'll use my grid paper again, lay it on here so we have square corners. So that's what you got to do, Rachel. You have to put things up that are kind of like distracting when you have to find something. That worked. It worked, didn't it? You guys weren't bored watching me try to find things. So you just stick that on there, and then you're going to trim off the excess. And this just kind of creates a ground. Now, if you don't want to waste the stuff that I'm trimming off, you could certainly measure a piece out from this, and then you'll have lots more green paper to use elsewhere. But we're going quick. I'm just going to throw that in recycling. Okay, so we have our ground, and now we're going to take this piece, and we're going to add it above the ground as if it's like a bunch of bushy, flowery bushes, right? We'll add that with dimensionals. 1, 2, 3, and are they going to be in the zone? They are. See how I put it over the top upside down? So these dimensionals will stay within the confines of that layer. So we'll peel off the backings, flip it over, and then as we flip it over, I'm just going to lay this in place. We won't stick it down yet, but I just want to make sure that it is not going to create too much problem with this being seen. Now we can take and add this, and we'll add that with just flat adhesive, and we'll tuck it in like this. And I think I'm going to straighten it out on my grid paper again, so I can use the lines on my grid paper as a guide to make sure everything's straight. We'll add adhesive on the back, whether it's glue, seal, whatever, and we'll add that to our basic gray layer. So far, we have 2 cards almost completed. This one does not get embellishments, but you could add embellishments to it. We only have so many butterflies in the kit. So I guess if I was going to recommend any other embellishment, I would recommend these guys here. These are the pearlized faceted circles, and they come in 3 different colors that go really well with the Calypso Coral ink. Okay, so that is going to be put aside with this one. Okay. Next, we're going to do the card that has this piece, okay? So we need to have our green card base, and we're going to cut this into 3 pieces. Our first layer is going to measure 2 7/8. Our second one is going to measure 2 5/8. Okay. 2 7/8. Right here. And I'm going to flip it over and do 2 5/8 on this side. That leaves us with a piece that has a line through it. There is a trick to flattening it out somewhat. It didn't get rid of it completely for me, but some people have said that this helps, where you take and you put it on your Stampin' Pierce mat or somewhere foamy, even a straight flat table. But what you're doing is you're trying to take and push that score line back upward, and it's flattening it out so it's not as prominent. Well, at least it feels like it worked the first time I did it, but you just kind of have to press through there. You don't want to create new score lines, so actually you probably want to use your flat table. You don't want to like poke onto something foamy, but it's kind of smoothing it out a little bit more. It's not as prominent. So if that bugs you, you could try that, but that will be for the third card, which I'm putting over here. Okay, so we're gonna work on 3 cards now using the green card base. We need to have, this one's gonna go with this. We need to have a gray layer. So we'll bring in the basic gray cardstock and we will cut from here. You know what, I'm gonna cut in this direction to get more out of it. We're gonna cut 5.5 inches in this direction. And then I'm gonna turn it, cut a 3-inch piece, a 2 3/4-inch piece, and then we're gonna save that for the third card because I don't remember how big to make that yet. Hey, thanks for the thumbs up. I love it. All right, so on that note, last time we were together, I asked you how many of you have created with your kit. Do any of you multiply the cards in your kit now? Can you do it on your own? That's my next question to you. Are you someone who now is addicted to multiplying the cards in your kit, whether it's Kits Collection kits, Paper Pumpkin kits, and do you do it on your own or do you copy other people's ideas? Like, I'm interested to hear like how many of you do that and how you do it, okay? So we have a couple pieces. We're gonna take and work on this one first since we've already cut our bike to size. This bike is gonna get added to this green layer. The dark green I want at the bottom because it's more like it's a, I don't know, the ground, right? So we'll add that to our gray layer. We'll add the bike to the top of that. We'll stamp it. This is a very easy card to put together. In fact, all of these are, which is so fun because it makes card making not so stressful, right? Okay, so we have that on there. We're gonna flip this over. This whole piece is gonna fit within this zone, so we can really put dimensionals wherever they will fit. Put one in the bottom corner. Nothing's gonna get layered, so we don't have to worry about where the dimensionals sit. So we'll just put a fair number on here to kind of support certain areas. And I think on the bike handle, I'll put one there and maybe one here. And I think I'm gonna put one down here. Okay, so we will peel off the backings. Some people love to use the take your pick tool to do this, where they poke into it. And I see I'm not skilled at it, but it peels off the backing and they're really good. Oh, geez, I'm getting good at this. At grabbing a bunch of them at once. Have you guys, do you guys do that? How many of you do it this way? I've seen people do it and I'm just like, wow, that is amazing. I have thin fingernails, so I can get right under there and lift and remove. Then you make sure that all your dimensionals are shiny. We're gonna come in here, we're gonna go right to the base of that green corner. Okay, ignoring the gray, but going right to the base of the green. In that corner, lining up those 2 edges and then coming over here and lining up the right edge, and everything fits within. Then we're gonna stamp across the top and we'll stamp that other stamp that didn't get put on a block. In fact, let's mount them all because I think I use all the stamps in this. Oh, thanks, Vay. She goes, I always give thumbs up because you know that you're gonna enjoy the videos. That's so sweet of you. Okay, we're gonna mount the butterflies because we'll use those. And we also have another block for best wishes. I mount my stamps so that they're not straight. I never want to look at the edges of my blocks when I'm stamping. It distracts me. So that's my advice to you. If you want to stamp straighter, if you're having problems with that, it might be because you're relying on the edges of your block. Don't do that. It's too much work. Okay. Now we can add this to another card base. So we will take another card base. I happen to have one here that just needs a fold. We'll fold that. And that will get added flat to this piece like that. And then we're going to add dimensionals. Not dimensionals. Embellishments. A couple butterflies. So that is how that card ends up looking. I'm going to show you the inside soon. Okay. We'll go to the next card. The next one is using our skinnier pieces. We're going to still do the ground on the bottom. This time we're going to take and cut a half bike in half. So this bike is already like cut, right? How can we cut it more? Well, you can cut it more. We're going to cut right through the spokes. We're going to use the spokes as a guide. We're going to line them up in our trimmer like that. Okay, you can see the darkness coming through. And we're just going to, oopsie, hold everything straight. Might help to hold onto the basket because that sticks out pretty far. And then we're going to cut and cut and cut like that. And now we have this bike half and this bike portion. Because we're mounting this onto a skinny, narrow piece, it's okay that it's cut off on this side and on this side. In fact, we want to even get rid of some of that extra white that's on that edge. So if you had enough space, you could do that. We really have a little bit of extra, so that's good. This is going to get mounted just like the last one onto dimensionals. So you put your dimensionals on the back side wherever they fit and add that here so that it's sitting on top of the road. You don't have to have it all the way to the bottom on this card because this one, you know, doesn't have that square corner like the last one did. See how this one is squared off? So you can have it sitting more on top of this ground imagery here. And then you're going to stamp "Have a Lovely Day" in the upper corner. And because the bike has all of that reflectiveness to it, I didn't feel the need to use more butterflies on it because you only get so many butterflies, right? Practice, practice, practice. Felicia says, just keep practicing with the Take Your Pick tool. You can do it. And I should. Okay, so I'm going to set this over here and I'm going to show you the end result of this card. So you can see with all that reflectiveness, it just gives it enough sparkle and shine, right, to be eye-catching. Stamp the lovely day here. I did trim off the white over here. And, oh, we're doing the insides later. Okay, hang on. Next, we have this piece. Now this piece here, this line, depending on where you cut in from your edges, could be left justified or in this case, right justified. My crease is a little bit more to the right on this one because I cut it a little differently. This is where you're going to put that extra bike, that bike portion. It's going to be trailing off as if we just caught the tail end of it. And because we wanted a little bit more color on this, I decided that it would be good to stamp this piece. Let me pull it in here. We're going to stamp that piece with that same floral stamp inside this. Now, here's the tricky thing. This kind of takes some figuring out. Like, I had it upside down for the longest time. I'm like, why is it not lining up? So make sure it's flipped in the right direction and rotated the right way, and then you should be able to stamp on it. Okay? That's my advice. Just keep flipping and rotating. Flipping and rotating. And do it on a dark surface too so you can see the white edging. Peel off the backing, and now you have a grouping of flowers that you can kind of put into that basket. I put them in the basket on dimensionals, but the bike portion itself is up on dimensionals. So when you're adding dimensionals to these two layers, put this on first, figure out where it's going to go. I think I had it turned this way, it doesn't matter. But put that on first, and then if my dimensional is here, I could put one here, and then I won't have that double dimensional feel and make a bulky envelope. So there's how that's going to look. These two layers are up on dimensionals. You're going to stamp Have a Lovely Day. If you want to add extra embellishments, again, those faceted circles are really great. And the card will turn out to look like, hang on, I'm going to move this over here because now I have to give you some measurements, like this. Okay, super cute. So this piece ends up being 3 inches wide, the piece that's remaining on your green base, and the gray piece underneath ends up being 3 1/8 inch wide. Okay, that's your layer that you put on. Oh, you know what? Look at this. Rachel got smart on that one. You don't, I was going to mention this. Maybe oh gosh, did I do it on my other ones? On my, you could do this too. Instead of having full gray pieces, you can do 1/2 inch strips and put them behind and give the illusion that you are doing a full layer of gray underneath. Okay, next card. The next one uses this card base, and the next two uses this card base. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut it down by 1/8 inch from the top. So here's our card base, right? We're going to cut 1/8 inch off the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. So it's 1/8 inch shorter. And then from each side, we're going to cut 4 1/8 and 4 1/8. So that we're removing 1/4 inch from the middle or 1/8 inch off each layer. So now we have these two layers that will give a nice framing. We're going to cut into, and I'm just checking to make sure. Okay, yep. So then on this leftover yellow, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, don't do that. But yeah, I wanted to. We're gonna do the same thing that we did for the first half. We're just gonna cut it in half at 2 1/4 inches. So our gray layers are gonna be the same. Our gray layers are gonna be 4 3/8 by 2 7/8 to layer this piece on that's 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, good thing there's replay because then you can always just slow it down, or you can speed me up and make me talk faster. We're gonna use the white side. That's what you guys are gonna go like, what? We're gonna use the white side because I just wanted a little bit more like difference between dark and light on the card. So yeah, I can't think of the term. Anyways, I wanted more pop. So we have our white layers now, and we have, imagine them on the gray layers that I just told you about, and then it's gonna get mounted on here. So, you know, like this, right? Okay. Then on one piece, we're gonna add some yellow background, and on another, we're gonna add some pink background. And so for each of these pieces, we're just going, and I'll do one of them. I'll do this one. Okay, so we're just gonna take and do that same idea where you put the adhesive across the back, and you can use your grid paper to make sure everything's lined up. And then you're just gonna add this about 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch down from the top. And I'm using the grid paper to try to even out my sides. It doesn't look perfectly even, but it's good enough. Press that down, flip it over, trim off the edges. So we're just making kind of a little arched layer of color here. And you're gonna do that to both your pieces, okay? So for this one, we're going to add a basket. And what do we have left over from the kit? We have these envelope sections. We have these pieces. We have this piece and this piece, and we have this basket. This basket here can get stamped with another set of flowers. There's another flower stamp in your kit. Oh, that's the butterfly. So you have 2 of them in there, and we're gonna use this one because that one's made to fit in here. So you're just gonna ink it up, hover it over the top, stamp it down, and now we have that decorated piece that will go up onto dimensionals. We'll add that with 1, 2, 3 dimensionals. and put that right about here. You see why I don't use the take your pick tool, you guys? I just pulled those off so fast. You didn't even see it happening. Because I have two hands. I don't have two take your pick tools. I don't know, I'm just not in the habit of doing it, but I really admire, especially those of you that get your nails done, because I used to do it all the time. They would coordinate with past paper pumpkin kits, if you remember. And my nails are not strong enough to do that anymore. But yeah, I remember the challenges. So it's good to have those tricks for those of us that have issues with our thick fingernails. This is gonna get stamped with best wishes down here. If you're gonna be doing diagonal mounting, be careful not to get ink on corners, because you could ink up your images that are sitting up higher on dimensionals if you muddy up your blocks. Just thought of that. Okay, this gets mounted onto gray, and then onto this, and then onto another gray base, and you get a card that looks like this. And again, you could put, you know, the extra butterflies or faceted gems or whatever. The other one ends up looking like this. So we use, on this one, we make a little base table underneath, kind of a sunshine background, and then we add these two potted plant images like that. Okay, I did stamp a butterfly up there to kind of add something up in that corner. And those two, I'm gonna move this out of the way. Those are done. Okay, now let's do our last piece. And our last piece is probably the easiest one to work with. We're cutting it in half. So easy, right? We're literally gonna cut the thing in half. So if our layer, I have dimensional backings over here. If our layer is 5 1/4 inches, half of 5 is 2 1/2, and half of 1/4 is 1/8. So we're gonna go to 2 5/8 inches. And I'm gonna double check. Yes, 2 5/8 inches. 2 5/8. And now you have 2 layers to go into your last 2 cards. These cards are gonna have the soft seafoam base. So only 2 of them have the basic gray base, the last 2 that we did, but the rest of them are all soft seafoam bases, and the basic gray becomes layers. So for this one, because this piece overall measures 2 5/8 by 4, we're gonna go to 2 3/4 for the gray layer by 4 1/8 for the gray layer. So you're gonna do 2 gray layers, 1 for each. I also didn't like this little swatch of silver just kind of floating down there. So I'm gonna show you what I did to cover that up on that card. For this one, I felt like it was connected, so I didn't feel like I had to cover it. So we'll first look at that card. That one looks like this. I basically just put it onto the layers, stuck that whole layer up on dimensionals, the 2 layers together on dimensionals, 1 in each corner, put a silver butterfly in there to fill up that space, and stamp thank you on the actual card base. And then on the other one, and so for that one, what did we use? Oh, we have these things left, right? Those are the things that are left. Envelopes and these 2 layers. For this one, I actually used only this piece, and I cut off, I think it's 1 inch. Hang on, let me measure. Let me measure. This ruler is amazing, by the way. Everybody needs one. 1, 2. So I cut off about 3/4 of an inch. I'll do that for you right here. 3/4 of an inch. And then I had 2 pieces. One of them I flipped over and used on top, covering up the bike wheel. And the other one I had underneath. Actually, I think this one was slightly longer, because I think this piece was maybe about that. It was probably just over 2 3/4. I'm sorry. It was probably just over, let me tell you exactly. It was just under 1 inch, so it was 7/8. And then that makes this piece not 2 inches, but just under 2 inches at 1 7/8. Sorry, you can trim it off if you want to. All right, so you can add it here. You can add it wherever it's going to cover up that little silver petal that kind of is floating in nowhere's land. And then this just gets added off to the side to kind of continue the flow of that rectangle. I mounted this onto the gray layer, put it up on dimensionals, and then I offset it on the card to make room for that green strip here. Put a little butterfly on there, and it's actually probably one of my favorites in the whole collection of the 9 cards. I love it. We're gonna talk about insides now. The insides of your cards, you guys. Oh, and I didn't use this. I didn't use it. And it's one of the cutest little sentiment pieces, but I never ended up using it. So you can put it on another card. For your inside layers, you have 3 envelopes that look like this now, without the flaps. You have this place and this place to use for 3 cards. Now we have 6 cards, now we have 9 cards. So each of these is going to cover 3 inside layers on cards. To take care of that, you're going to cut off all of the all of the folds, everything where it's connected, just cut off those edges so that these pieces can open up. Cut them all off like that, okay? You'll do the same thing to each of these envelopes. Then, this piece is much bigger. I used the white sides of all of them, and I took this one first and cut it into 2. So instead of having a little over 5.5 inches, I just took 5.5 inch as a measurement and got from that a 2 3/4 inch piece and another 2 3/4 inch piece. Okay, now we're sticking with measurements that make sense. And then I cut this direction, and I want to say, we'll just measure one. 4, yes, I cut it at 4 inches. You could cut it longer if you want to, there's plenty of room. But now I have 2 layers, and from this piece, I got 1 more layer. So I started with this edge by cutting this at 3 1/4. And then I took about 1/2 inch off of this side so that all of that stuff would remove. See all this? That just comes right off. And then from this side, let's see, if this is 3 1/4, this is gonna be 4 1/2. 4 1/2. So you have a 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 inch layer. So it's slightly bigger than the rest of them. You can stamp on some, you can leave them blank. Let me show you the ones that I have. You had great nails before menopause too, Debbie? It's so sad. Menopause is not nice to us women. All right. I'm one of those that would rather have my cycle each month. All right, so for these layers, what did we do on these cards? On this one, we have a smaller one, blank. This one, smaller one, but with some flowers, because you can see we added flowers there. So why not stamp some flowers on the inside? On this one, we have a bicycle. There's a bicycle stamp in the kit, you guys. So I stamped this bicycle on my inside layers on several of these. This is one of the larger ones, okay? You can see the difference, right? On this card, I stamped the bicycle, larger layer. On this one, I put a smaller layer. Oh no, it's a larger layer. Look at that, it's larger. And I put flowers, because we have flowers here, so I have flowers there. So all these cards are the ones that got the larger layers. The rest of the cards got the smaller layers. This one, flowers. This one I believe is butterflies. Let's guess. It's butterflies. And then these two I think are partial bikes. Oh yeah, there's the back of the bike again, but in miniature form. And on this one, the front of the bike, just to kind of carry on that design. So those are the finished cards. I have more to share. This is why we quickly went through these today, because there's an event that's coming up the end of July 27th through August 1st. I am hosting a craft along, co-hosting I should say, with 5 other demonstrators. were the same people that did the Hello Spring craft along back in March, April time, right? And so we're gonna do Christmas in July because tomorrow there's a bunch of new products that debut. Sorry, just straightening out so we can spread these out for you guys. There's a bunch of products that debut in the July online exclusives product release, okay? And there's Christmas and Halloween in there. There's a little bit of fall because people like to get ahead of the game and make a lot of their holiday stuff in the summer. Christmas in July is a very, very popular thing to do in the paper crafting world. If you've never been invited to a Christmas in July event, they're all over the place. It's popular. So that's what we're doing. We're doing Christmas in July. We're going to have 12 different Christmas projects, 2 designed from each of us, 6 people, and we're going to present them over a series of 6 days, similar to how we did in the spring. So let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh, I just had a blog post that went up on my website that gives all the information. If you're subscribed to my blog post, you would have gotten that information. If you're subscribed to my newsletter list, you would have also gotten that same information with a link to the blog post because the blog post is like a home base, and that's where the registration link is. So make sure that you visit my website at stampyourartout.com so that you can see that. All right, fun cards, right? So what am I gonna do today? Well, I'm gonna show you those 2 bundles that we're gonna feature in the craft along. These are them. Pretty Poinsettia, or Poinsettia, tomato, tomato. I think I say Poinsettia more often than Poinsettia, but I say them both. The dies and the coordinating stamps. And then Festive Cheer, the dies and the coordinating stamps. We're gonna be using these 2 bundles in the craft along. If you're a demonstrator, I wanna recommend to you that you get the PDF as an option. You don't necessarily need to buy all the product from me because you can get your own product from yourself and get a discount, right? If you want to click the easy button, you absolutely can buy the kit. We have 2 kits, kit offerings with this. So you can either, actually 3 offerings. We have the PDF only, and then we have 2 kits. We have the basic kit and we have the full kit. The basic kit will include the consumables that you need, and the full kit will include the consumables and the bundles. Both kits, you get the PDF for free, okay? If you're a team member of mine, you get the PDF for free. So read through the information. If you wanna follow along and you don't wanna buy anything, you certainly can do that too. You can watch all those videos that week, that last week of July, and you can follow along that way. So you don't even have to pay if you don't want to. You can participate if you're not in the USA. Yes, Marie, you can participate by watching the videos. You can also purchase the PDF. You can't get the product from me, but we do have Ange McKay, who is in Canada, and I do have in my blog post a link to connecting with her if you want to get product, okay? All right, let's see the projects that you can make. So I have 2 projects that I've created for the event, but they're not quite ready to show yet. But I have other projects that I made that are using these products in a different way. Let me bring in my trimmer, and I'm gonna use, let's just use a small piece of real red 2-tone cardstock. I'm gonna use the red side, and I'm choosing 2-toned even though I'm using the truer red side because I want to have flimsier cardstock. So I'm using 2-toned, and then I'm using basic white regular for these things that I'm making. I'm gonna cut a 1-inch strip by 3-inch strip. 1 inch by 3 inch. This is something that has been out there for a long time. People love making these. Okay, so then we're gonna I'm gonna get some other scrap paper because we barely touched this one and I wanna keep it nice looking. I'm gonna use a stamp that comes in the Poinsettia stamp set. It looks like this. And we're gonna use real red ink on real red cardstock. Did you just get it, Cindy? Awesome, yay. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. And we're gonna ink this. I'm gonna point it upright, okay? So if you point it upright, And we'll just stamp it like that. Then it's kind of easier to connect. So we're gonna lay that there, kind of in the place where we had stamped it. And you can use your scrap paper as a guide. And then you just connect and you keep pointing upright. Connect, keep pointing upright. You can literally do this with larger cardstock. Let's see here, this one's gonna come in here. And this one's gonna come in here. Actually, we'll just shift it down because we're doing a tiny space. But you can cover your whole space with kind of that diamond-y design, right? You can also do it on a much larger piece. So let's say you're gonna make a whole bunch of these strips. You can make a big long row of them and stamp them all at the same time, and it goes a lot quicker. And then when you are done, you can take one of these. This is so fun, you guys. This is so simple and so fun and so festive. Okay, we're gonna take some tear and tape and we're gonna put that right at the end of one of these. I know it tears, but I like to cut my tear and tape sometimes. Okay, so we have tear and tape and we have some seal adhesive. We'll peel off the backing. Fingernails. Fingernails aren't working now. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to take a Hershey Nugget. We're going to wrap this end last, put it over the top. It's such a quick way to make some festive candies for baby showers, for weddings, for parties of any sort. You can theme them for whatever you're doing. So we have a red wrapped nugget now, and they have nuggets in gold wraps, kind of a coppery wrap, a silvery wrap. And so we have a couple of them. And now I've made for us a 4th of July Independence Day celebratory little wrapped set of candies. And I just wrapped it in saran wrap, plastic wrap. So if you are celebrating this weekend, you can do something like that super quick. You could probably think outside the box with a lot of your own stamps and come up with designs that you can do on navy two-tone, red two-tone, and basic white regular cardstock. So how did I get those two designs? This one is heat embossed white onto the blue, and that image comes from Festive Cheer, these little guys here. So they're like little asterisks, kind of taking the place of stars, right? And then the other one, so I have a couple here, and then the other one is this that looks like fireworks. Do you love them? Thank you. And that one I did with these little branches. And I just mounted them onto my stamp so that they were side by side. And I stamped one. I looked at this one here and made sure it was straight across from the other one. 2, so these two are straight across from each other. And 3. And then I inked it up in another color. Navy. Let's just clean this stamp off. Yes, I still have the scrub. I love the scrub and I'm not giving it up. Oh, I'm not a chamois girl. I'm trying, but they dry up so fast too. Okay, ink up. And I suppose the scrub dries up too. Now you just go between. 1. Let's see here, twist it right. 2. And 3. And now we have this thing that looks like a wacky looking firework. Fun, right? Okay, so that's one idea, is to make some celebratory types of covered candies using Christmas stamp sets. These are available tomorrow, by the way. You could expedite your order if you want to, or just think outside the box with the other stuff. I just wanted to show you how you can think outside the box. You don't have to necessarily do Christmas with Christmas stuff, right? Okay, another thing that you could make with these 2 bundles, I'm just trying to give you value, right? Is you can take and die cut. Sorry, you're not picking up. I have 1, 2, 3. And we're not going to stamp anything. We're not even going to die cut. We're just going to assemble. But I just want to show you that I've die cut some branches and leaves. This here is the poinsettia leaf, but done in a light green, kind of spring-like. And then the other die comes from here. And you know what this is? Because you guys did tell me when I was showing off this product, when I was revealing it, it is the branch part that would be like what? The brown part of the branch. So if you want to, you can make them more realistic looking and add that. I decided to flip that over though. And now I'm looking at the back side of it so that one is curved in one way and one is curved in the other way, and put this one between. So now I have like this little collection of things that you'd find in the woods over 4th of July weekend or whenever you're going to the woods, right? And then what you can do is you can get ink on your hands. You can go to, it's okay, it's almost the end of the video. I'm gonna lick it because it's non-toxic. So bear with me. We don't want to smear it anywhere. There, that's better. Okay, then what you can do is you can stamp onto a note card with Granny Apple Green and Garden Green inks, Wonderful Wishes. That comes from these sets too, and that could be any time of year. You can say Wonderful Wishes at any time of year. And that comes from the Pretty Poinsettia Stamps, Wonderful Wishes. I just masked, I used tape. I just used tape and put it on my stamps so that I would not ink up certain parts, peeled the tape away, and then stamp down just the words I wanted. So these could get put onto a note card. They could get a fun little bow. This is the crisp cantaloupe colored bow. And then you can take and add these little gems here and there. I will take photos of the finished card and I will post it on my blog, and that blog post is gonna go up within a couple hours, I promise you, because I have other things to do today to get ready for my kiddo. You like the scrub better too? Oh, good. Thank you so much, Tony. Trying to think outside the box. You know what happens is when you're doing these paper pumpkin creations, your mind does go outside of what you normally see those those images as, right? So you can flip things upside down. You can flip them over. You can do so many things to help make your mind work differently. And so with that, I just took and looked at each of those images and said, can I do something that is more like summer with this Christmas stuff? And so I was thinking of what kind of summer things do we have? Well, leaves are in the summer. You know what I mean? Like just start looking at your stuff in different ways. So I hope that you take advantage of that type of creativity and start using it on your own. Maybe apply it to these products if you're going to get them starting tomorrow. So on that note, we do have a whole bunch of products releasing tomorrow that are new. July online exclusives, which this is a part of. We have 2 new kits from the Kits collection releasing, and we have a new product of the month. So I want to show you that product of the month. I have that up on my computer. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the one that's sold out. Okay, I will find it and I will pull it up. Hang on. I have it on my computer, but I had the wrong one ready. Hang on a minute. Okay, in the meantime, let me show you this, okay? This is just a little glimpse of the 12 different projects that we're gonna make at the Christmas and July Craft Along. So again, visit my website or my newsletter and get that information. Okay, we're gonna try to find the product of the month. When you order product, if you are a demonstrator, order from yourself. You can stay active. You can continue to get the discount, right? So please order from yourself. If you have a demonstrator, order from them. I found the image. Order from them. They would love it, I'm sure. And if you don't have a demonstrator and you're in the US, I would be happy to help you out. I do offer loyalty points. 10 loyalty points equals a free stamp set if collected within a year's time. And you can get all-star video tutorials for $50 orders. There's like some ordering perks. This is the product of the month that will be debuting tomorrow. It's called Begonia Bell Stamp Set. It's a 2-step stamp set where you put 2 layers over each other and you get this beautiful full flower. And then I also have, and I think, let me just move this away here. I also have an image, here it is, of a kit This is called our Welcome Kit, and it is debuting today at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And anybody who gets the starter kit from this point forward, this is how you're going to be spoiled. You're going to get a welcome kit in your new kit, your new starter kit purchase. There's lots of details for this as well in my blog, but it's going to be so much more beneficial. All the issues that we had in the past, you know, like trying to reach that 125 without going over, and you can't quite get the, like all of those issues that we had are gone. If you got the starter kit to be a discount shopper and you got all those catalogs when you don't know what to do with them, you have the option of not choosing them. So there's like really cool changes happening starting today at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. I think I've mentioned it all. I did. The only other thing that I want to point out is that my calendar is a little bit messed up because of my kiddo visiting, because it's summer. So I do want to bring you there. There is a link to my calendar of lives in the description of each of my current videos, and it tells you when I'm going live. So you can see we're on the 30th. I'm not going live. I should put the other one. I have one going live tomorrow. I have to put it in there. But then we also have, and we'll just scroll here, in July, we have a couple weeks where it's just one per week. And then I've got a Sunday one. And then we're going to try 2 p.m. on these 2 days. So please pay attention to that calendar because it's doing some jumping around. I guess summer is the time that Rachel's going to experiment. But here's the craft along, okay? And don't forget, I'm going to add a link in here too. Or not a link, but an announcement that we're doing a live tomorrow. So you got to come and see all those fun cards. I'm so sorry we went over. Trisha, bless your heart. I'm going to let you all go. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget Paper Pumpkin. It's a fun thing. Sign up, join. You're going to love it. It builds creativity to think outside the box. And I hope that you enjoyed what I shared today. And I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.